on, boom. I always have to check. You never know. Because I do the voice activation, and so I'm not clicking a button and I don't hear the beep. When you're not moving, you can hear the beep. Anyway, what's up, guys? Ma's back doing another video, going for a cruise. Today I wanted to talk about how do you know when you're no longer a beginner rider, when you're an intermediate rider. And I think this is a good topic because that's how I feel. That's kind of where I'm at. How long do you have to be riding for until you know whether you are, that's sick, until you know whether you are a more proficient rider, just not a beginner anymore? Is it a time frame? Is it a certain amount of miles that you ride? Is it certain things that you can do on the bike? Does wheeling have anything to do with it? Which I don't think it does, but you know, these are questions you probably ask yourself and I ask myself, and you know, I'm curious. So this bike, I got this bike about 2 months ago. I think exactly 2 months ago. It's got 2,500 miles. You see that, $24.99. $24.99, and I'd say that's a decent amount of miles. I've been riding every day for 2 months, and just getting a little spirited pace going. Seeing if I know. And yeah, but riding every day, multiple hours a day, for 2 months. You know, I asked, is that enough time to be an intermediate rider, or am I still a beginner rider? Who knows? But I think there are some key things that identify that whether you are still a beginner or you're an intermediate, and then I'm sure there are same things that are inherent in becoming or going from an intermediate rider to an expert rider. So yeah, I wanted to talk about some of those things. So firstly, you know, I think as a beginner, riding in traffic still feels uncomfortable. Always nervous about different things. Are people cutting into your lane? Are you leaving enough space? Are you making the right decisions in traffic? I think those all factor in. You know, those can be as simple as, you know, what is your lane position when you're riding in traffic? For example, like this fucker, I don't know what the fuck. What is your lane position when riding in traffic? That's something that I'm always mindful of. Am I, you know, left side, middle, right? I never chill in the middle of it, because that's, you know, where all the shit falls. And you can see it right here. There's just like fluid on the ground, and that's gross, and it could cause loss of traction and shit like that. Lane position as it pertains to when you're riding in multiple traffic, I usually stay inside so that the people can see me in their mirrors. If like this car next to me, if I'm in the outside portion of the lane, and basically I'm opening myself up to be in a bigger blind spot for them, and they can't see me. So you know, lane positioning as it pertains to the traffic around you, I think that's hugely important. Again, leaving enough space. Am I bobbing in and out of traffic? You know, while I have the mechanics to be able to bob in and out of traffic, is that the right thing to do? Is that something an intermediate rider would do? Probably not. And I don't think being a beginner, intermediate, or expert is speaking to how fast you can ride the bike in traffic. I don't think that you know, an expert rider could ride really well or really fast in traffic, but that's not necessarily what makes them an expert. They just have the skills to be able to do that's not risky for them. I've seen a graph where, you know, you have your proficiency versus risk. A beginner, because there isn't too many proficiencies, you're riding at a rate where there's more risk than proficiency, therefore things can go wrong and you get hurt and crash and all that shit. But as you get more skills, your proficiency starts to outweigh your risk. So the way to kind of get better is not necessarily to introduce more risk, but to definitely increase your proficiencies. If you increase your proficiencies, you can keep that risk below. You can keep that risk below what your skill set is, and I think that is where the beginner, intermediate, and expert, you know, falls. A beginner, if you have a tremendous amount of proficiencies, you can steer well, you can ride well, accelerate well, the fundamental mechanics of riding, and then mitigate your risk while driving in traffic. I think that's what bumps you up into being an intermediate rider. I'd like to think I'm an intermediate rider, but you know, I don't ride with other people. When you ride with other people, I have before, they point out some of the things that you're doing wrong. Like the first time I got on my bike, the first few days, I was right in the middle of the lane, right in the middle of traffic, right, not in the middle of traffic, right in the middle lane position. And my buddy was like, yo, you're riding in the middle lane position, you should probably pick a side, a lot of stuff falls there. I was like, oh, okay. And then that's what I started to do. Like this guy, I could see that guy in the mirror. I mean, I'm kind of close and I'm gonna move away from him, but I could see him in my mirror, in his mirror. I could see his face. And that means he could see, as long as he's looking, that doesn't necessarily mean he could see me, but if he's looking, he can see me. And that's the kind of position I try and put myself in. Hey. So that's why normally when I'm doing these rides, I'm not really riding in traffic like this. So I wanted to do that to kind of speak about some of the things about riding in traffic. So I always pick a side. I don't ride in the middle, I always pick a side so I can be seen. And just constantly looking around in the mirror, seeing where people are. There's a white Honda Civic to my back right. Directly behind me is a Nissan Rogue. To my back left is a Honda CR-V. I can see all that, and obviously I can see everything that's going up in front of me. He's coming up on my side now. Like, you can just see all of those things. She's riding with a mask. Oh, because she's with her grandma. She doesn't want to get grandma sick. I think it was a CBR. I don't know what that was. She's just riding with grandma. You know, just hanging out. So as I've progressed on the actual fundamental mechanics of riding, you do introduce more risks. You know, cut it tighter between switching lanes, increase your pace in turns. These are all things that practice that help you to be more comfortable in the mechanics. And I'm no longer nervous riding on the street. Like, just keeping an eye on everything. Like, I'm just constantly diligent about what's going on around me, and that makes me feel more confident. It makes me feel like I'm more in control. I think riding a motorcycle, you need to have a nice blend of driving offensively and defensively. And offensively in the sense where if I have to make a move, go make that move to get myself to prevent a shitty situation. If I'm getting boxed in by a bunch of cars, by traffic, and you know, this would be an example. I'm not really boxed in or anything, but I don't want to get boxed in. If you're boxed in by a bunch of cars, you're in a shitty situation and don't have too much control, don't have too many options. Knowing that you can have options out of a situation, I would say that's being offensive, meaning taking that option before you need to, because if you needed to take that option in the split second or in that moment, I would then call that being defensive. So knowing the difference of when to be defensive versus offensive, because you do need to be both. You can't just be offensive and constantly bobbing and weaving in between traffic and all that stuff. But you don't want to only be defensive, so you're always in situations where you have to react to things happening to you. So I think a blend, knowing the difference there, and that only comes with riding. That's why I kind of feel why I'm broaching into the intermediate category, because I can tell the difference of those things. Watching people's tires as they're, you know, pulling up to stoplights and seeing if that wheel is slowly moving. I've talked about in another video, I fucking hate when people slow roll at their stop sign, because I can't tell if they're going to go or not. But those are just some things I look for. These lanes right here, these are what I hate the most, and this is why I don't like riding on US 1. When someone's in that left lane about to make a left and you see where that Lexus is, if there was a car making a left there... Oh, hey, buddy. What are we doing, homie? Check my blind spot, see if I'm okay to go, and move lane position. I can get the fuck out of the way. I would say that is an offensive situation. I sped up instead of slowed down. Anyway, when someone's in that left lane position turning left and then there's someone on the other side going the other way, you can't see them. The car blocks the view of the car on the other side of the road potentially turning left. and that's super sketchy. So when I'm in that situation, I go on defense, you know what I mean? I cover up my brakes so that I can make a move if I need to and just be going to an emergency situation. Knowing that you need to do that. What's going on here? Knowing that you need to do that and just be aware of like, hey, I might be in a shitty situation because that car can't see me. I don't know if there's a car there. I get all the way over to the right side of the lane. If I can, I go into the right lane temporarily so that there's an angle to see me, so that they know I'm there. Sometimes what I'll do is if they can't see me and I'm in traffic, I'll get really close to the car. Not really close, but close enough to the car in front of me so that I kind of blend into it. Or basically, even if they were going to turn, it's not going to hit me because I'm in I'm close enough to the car in front of me that they're not going to make the turn so quick after that car passes them that they'll hit me. So I'll just get really close so that I just blend. I blend with the car in front of me. Another huge thing is like right now, like, you know, when I came to that stop, I usually pick a side of the car. So if someone's coming behind me and is going to rear end me, it's not like getting rear-ended in the car. If I get rear-ended on a bike, I'm fucked. I'm getting hit. My bike is getting hit. It's not like, oh, it's just be a fender bender. Like, no, the bike is going to get hit. I could get sandwiched between two cars. A lot of things can go shitty there. So I pick a lane position so that I have a way to like move, or you know, I keep it in first gear, hand on the clutch in case I have to go. And if that happens, I'll just go and I'll scoot in between the two cars. There's enough space. You know, lane splitting is illegal here in Florida, but if I was in a shitty situation where I had to do it, I'm gonna do it. Like, I don't care. You do what you gotta do. You see, there's enough space between those two cars. Say I wanted to change lanes and ride right in the middle. I could if I wanted to. Just there is enough space. I hope it's not raining out here. God damn it. I'm gonna have to turn around if it does. So yeah, that's a combination of like knowing the surroundings, my lane position, predicting what people are gonna do. You know, when someone's about to change lanes, so this guy, he may change lanes. I'm gonna slow down, I'm gonna give him space. He sees me, I see him looking at me, and I'm gonna pass him. You can tell when people are about to change lanes because you actually see their tire move. While they're riding straight, you watch that front tire. It'll give an indicator about what they're gonna do. I'm gonna cut over here, they're braking. This guy, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's inching up, inching up, inching up. Okay, he's stopped, he's not coming. Like, that's what's going through the head. Those could be inherent in a beginner, but I think that's when you start passing into a phase of an intermediate rider, that's how you're thinking. And that's why I chose to ride in traffic today, to kind of talk out what I'm thinking about as I'm riding. Okay, I'm gonna move over here because he may be like, oh shit, I don't want to stop, so I'm gonna change lanes. I'm gonna slow down here because I don't know if this railroad track is gonna throw me up, throw my seat off. And it did a little bit, nothing too crazy. Oh, hey guy. So, oh, and he's speeding, so I can speed up. Okay, so he came out and he's like, I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna go quick. All right, that guy up there is coming out. Is he gonna try and merge in? I'm gonna slow down a little bit. I'm gonna give him space. Okay, he's in there. He's in there. Shit like that. It sounds stupid when you like talk to yourself and saying it out loud as to whoa, as to what you're doing. But that's all it is, and you're just doing this the whole time. And that's kind of why in previous videos I say when you're riding, you're only focused on riding because you're doing all of this stuff. Your mind is preoccupied with all of these different things that you're doing. I'm going to get back into this lane position so that he can see me. I could see her face in her mirror. Even now, I'm in her blind spot. I could see her face. She can see me if she looked. She might even be able to hear me. That's the benefit of having an exhaust. She might be able to hear me. Beginner riders, I think you get, and this is totally me, I'm not, okay, he's rolling, okay. beginner riders, you kind of get lost in the mechanics of what you're doing versus the actual art. And the art is like riding in traffic and paying attention and shit like that. You get lost in the mechanics. Am I shifting properly? Am I able to rev match? Like, those are all different techniques. A beginner can do those things. I was able to rev match within 2 days of riding, but that doesn't mean that I was intermediate just because I could rev match. So mechanics, while helpful and do increase skill, I don't think that's an indicator of where you're at overall as a rider. And even now, I probably could introduce more risk into my riding, but I still don't do that. Because the only way for me to grow proficiency is to do something outside of what I'm capable of doing or comfortable doing, and then pushing where that bar is. So technically, the first couple times you start doing things, you don't have proficiency with them, so you're engaging in risky riding. I hate US 1. Well, I wanted to do this for this video. Riding here is fucking awful. Shit is everywhere. People are everywhere. Most accidents, especially here in Florida, US 1. The shit sucks. So when I go out and ride, because I want to be a better rider, I want to get better at it, I focus on different skills or different mechanics. Like rev matching was one of the first things that see. This is what I do. That car can't see me, but I'm close. Even if he turned, I'd be safe there. Rev matching is something I wanted to do from the get-go, just because it sounds cool. Rev matching just sounds cool. You're revving the engine, but you're not just revving it for no fucking reason. You're revving it because you're trying to sync up. And that's super cool, and it sounds good. So rev matching, that was the first few days, that's what I was focused on, that's what I want to learn how to do, so that's what I did. A couple days of doing it, you know how to rev match. I was jerking myself around a little bit the first few times because I wasn't getting the proper engine speed to the miles per hour, but after a while it starts to become second nature. I'm going to get out here in the right lane because I'm going to be making a right soon. Rev match down into first like a baller. Looks like it's gonna rain, man. What the fuck is going on? You never know with this shit, and it's all going out towards the water. Ooh, I think the dealership's calling me about the ZX6R. How cool is that? Anyway. We might be riding directly into rain. Which also brings up a good topic of being able to ride in undesirable conditions. Obviously, I try to avoid it, but there's some situations which are unavoidable, so you're just riding in undesirable situations, which gives you proficiency doing those things that you hadn't really planned on doing or wanted to do. And that's how you get better. You know, you can be in shitty situations while you're riding where someone's cutting out in front of you and you're just in I don't know if he's going to come out. Thanks for not coming out. Or you're in undesirable situations, and then that's how you learn. Because you got put in a shitty situation, you had to make a move, you had to, the fuck was that? You had to, you know, either evasive maneuver or emergency brake or whatever it is, and now you know how to be in that situation. So all in all, really interested to hear about you guys, about, you know, what your progress was, when you felt that, you know, some of the things that you were doing that made you feel like you weren't a beginner rider anymore. Is this my road? Yeah. Up, up, up. It is gonna rain. I feel little droplets on my arm. So let's get out of this shitty situation and go out that way. We're going right anyway. Yeah, would love to hear your guys' experience or your progression, some of the milestones that you guys achieved that made you feel, I mean, wow, this is beautiful, that made you feel like you had upped your riding and you noticed that you were doing things that would be quote-unquote intermediate riding, or you just noticed your skills increasing. Love to engage with you guys on what some of those things are. It's mostly to get a frame of reference for me. I haven't been riding with people. I don't know. I want to know if I'm getting better as a rider. I just want to fucking know. And I don't, because I'm only talking to myself when I'm riding and saying, okay, you're focusing on this, you want to do this, whatever. I'm really only talking to myself, and I could easily delude myself into thinking that I'm better than I am, which I don't want to do. So yeah, we'll love to hear from you guys. Love to go riding with you guys, if anyone is in the area, and get to meet people. I mean, even if it's just interacting via comments and stuff like that, I'd love to do that. Love to talk to you guys. So yeah, if you have anything to talk about on the topic, or when to know whether you're an intermediate or an expert from a beginner, drop a line, let me know. And I will catch you guys in the next one.